Was there a lot of people that pressed?
Roll call, Mr. Tosh?
Yes. Mr. Vishal Patel.
Here.
Ms. Peng.
Here.
Mr. Shi.
Here.
Ms. White.
Here.
Ms. Anjana Patel.
She's gonna be late.
Mr. Lugo.
Here.
Mr. Ronak Patel. Mr. Erico.
Here.
Mr. Azarello.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Cool. In accordance with NJSA Section 10-412, the Edison Township Board of Education adjourns to confidential session for the purpose of discussing the following: confidential personal and board matters, student matters, pending litigation, legal matters, contracts, property acquisition, HIB hearing. Motion to adjourn to the previous session. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Okay, sorry.
No worries. In accordance with the provision of the Open Public Meetings Act, Edison Township Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted in the Board of Education administrative offices. Copies of this notice were sent to the Home News Tribune and the Star Ledger.
Thank you. And just one more time, all in favor for previous session? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
And we will come back somewhere between 6 and 6:30. Thank you.
All right.
Do I have a motion to reconvene to open session?
Motion? Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Should we go for student report first so we can relieve them? Okay, we're gonna start with the presentation for the dual language presented by Mr. Nero Ladd.
Good evening, members of the board, Dr. Aldarelli, and our Edison Township Public School community. I am thrilled to highlight a program that we have in our district called the Dual Language Academy, and you may be wondering what the program is. So the Dual Language Academy is a full-time program of instruction. It runs from grade kindergarten through eventually 5th grade, all at Washington Elementary School. So if you see on the slide, I highlighted Washington Elementary School because although the program is at that building, we accept kindergartners from any of our Edison schools. The program provides structured English language instruction as well as Spanish in all core content areas. The Dual Language Academy offers students an opportunity to become bilingual and biliterate in both English and Spanish. The program integrates native English-speaking students with native Spanish-speaking students for instruction, which is presented in both languages. It is supported by teachers who are fluent in English, Spanish, or both languages, and families must commit to 6 years of participation. This wouldn't happen without the support of our team. First, we'd like to thank Ms. Goomer for her constant support and her guidance in starting this program. The principal, Mr. Schlatter, our assistant principal, Ms. Vu, our curriculum supervisor, Ms. Gill, and honestly, this program wouldn't be as wonderful as it is if it wasn't for our amazing instructional staff, our teachers, some of which who are here today, and our instructional paraprofessionals. So our academy follows what we call the 3 pillars of dual language education. The first one being bilingualism and biliteracy, where students develop high-level proficiency in understanding, speaking, reading, and writing in 2 languages. The second pillar is grade-level academic achievement, where students achieve at or above grade-level academic standards in both languages across all content areas. Finally, multiculturalism. Students develop an understanding and appreciation of other cultures as well as their own. So how does the program work? We use something called the 50-50 model. Both English speakers and native Spanish speakers are enrolled in the program. 2 teachers who share the responsibility for teaching all subjects in the curriculum. One teacher will teach entirely in Spanish, and the other will teach the same curriculum entirely in English. One class receives instruction in Spanish for the first half of the day, while the other class simultaneously receives it in English. The classes will switch for the second half of the day. Both classrooms receive the support from instructional paraprofessionals. The curriculum that we use for the program comes from the Amplify program. We use their CKLA English Language Arts program, in parallel with their Camino Spanish Language Arts program. Teachers are provided professional development, training, coaching, everything that they need to master their task. So the long-term planning of the program, if you can see on the chart, we launched the program in the 23-24 school year with our first group of kindergartners who are now in second grade. We are planning to continue to expand the program each year so that eventually it'll be a full K through 5 program. Transportation is provided for families who are in the program. So the most exciting part of the program is we have our student panel tonight. We have students who are part of our first group, Ava, Ishan, and Michelle, if you guys can come on up. And Mrs. Schlatter is going to interview you guys and your experience in the program. Please give them a big round of applause.
Can we stand here? Is this okay? Okay. You're gonna face the audience. Here, Michelle. So these 3 students started in our kindergarten program. They're now in second grade. And I met with them today for a little bit to talk about tonight, and we were talking about what they knew before they came into dual language. Ava said she had a little Spanish from her grandmother. Michelle talked about how she spoke mostly in Spanish. And Ishan came in with English and was sure to tell me the first word he learned in Spanish was from sitting on the kindergarten carpet where he learned baño, which I'm sure most of us would know. So Michelle, we're going to start with you. What is your favorite thing about being in the dual language program?
My favorite thing is that I get to learn 2 languages at the same time and learn English and Spanish. And I really like all my teachers I had, and they're the best teachers in my reason, in my opinion. I think.
Ishan, ¿cuál es tu parte favorito del programa dual?
Mi parte favorito es, tiene 21 países que hablan español y yo comuniqué con estos países y yo sabe español.
So Ishan says that there are 21 Spanish-speaking countries that he will be able to speak to because of learning Spanish. Y Eva, ¿cuál es tu parte favorito del programa dual?
Yo le gusta aprender matemáticas en español y inglés.
Man, I didn't get that.
That Ava likes to learn mathematics in Spanish and English. ¿Algo más? No? Okay.
Wow.
Ya no más. Okay. We're going to read for you. You want to?
Yep, the students are going to read aloud a poem about their experience in dual language.
Because I speak English, I can listen to Abuelita's talents and say Familia Madre Amor because I speak English. I can learn from my teacher and say I love school because I'm bilingual. I can read books and libros. I have friends and amigos. I enjoy songs and canciones, games and juegos, and I have twice as much fun. And someday, because I speak 2 languages, I will be able to do twice as many things, help us twice as many people, and do everything I do twice as well. Porque hablo español, puedo escuchar los cuentos de mi abuelita y decir familia, madre, amor, porque hablo inglés. Puedo aprender de mi maestra y decir I love school, porque soy bilingüe. Puedo leer libros y books, tengo amigos y friends, disfruto canciones y songs, juegos y games y me divierto el doble. Y algún día, porque sé hablar 2 idiomas, poder hacer el doble de cosas, ayudar al doble de personas y hacer todo lo que haga el doble de bien.
Give them a big round of applause, guys. Thank you, Ava. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Ishan. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Hey, next I'd like to invite Miss Dana Badamarco. from James Madison Intermediate School.
Wow, that was amazing for our Washington dual language program. You guys were awesome. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, President Patel, Dr. Aldarelli, and the Edison Board of Education for allowing us the opportunity to recognize some of Edison's truly amazing students this evening. Tonight, I am excited to share a glimpse into a program that truly reflects the heart of our district and the power of meaningful connections across schools, our JMI Peer-to-Peer Club. This initiative provides an opportunity for John P. Stevens Hawks to work alongside our JMI Knights, completing homework, learning new skills, and most importantly, growing together. Peer-to-peer is far more than academics. It's about modeling kindness, fostering inclusion, and showing our younger students what it means to be supported by positive role models who believe in them. The impact of this program can be felt not only in our classrooms and hallways, but in the relationships formed, confidence built, and the smiles we see each week. This meaningful work would not be possible without the dedication and passion of the advisors who guide the program and make these experiences possible for our students. At this time, I am honored to turn it over to the peer-to-peer advisors, Mrs. Kimberly D'Angelo and Ms. Katie Purnell, who will share more about the program and recognize the J.P. Stevens students who truly make it all possible.
Good evening, everyone. We created the peer-to-peer program after recognizing how much students benefit from working alongside their peers within the classroom. Through these partnerships, students are exposed to new strategies, different perspectives, and meaningful collaboration. Most importantly, we saw their confidence grow, especially among struggling learners. We are incredibly fortunate to partner with the Hawks Club at J.P. Stevens. Every Wednesday afternoon, these students arrive with positive energy, compassion, and a genuine willingness to support others. Their work goes beyond academics. While they help strengthen skills and understanding, they also foster personal growth. They take the time to build relationships, learn about interests, and connect with our students on an individual level.
Now to our Hawks. You might not realize it yet, but what you're doing right now is bigger than homework help or practicing reading words and solving math problems. When you sit next to an elementary student, you're not just a tutor. You're a role model, a confidence booster, and sometimes the reason a child starts believing, maybe I can do this. Younger students don't just learn subjects. They learn how to feel about themselves as learners, and you are shaping that. The way you smile when you get something right, the patience you show when they struggle, the high five, the you got this, those moments stick. Years from now, they may not remember the worksheet, but they will remember how you made them feel. To them, you're not just a high schooler. You're cool. You're important. You're someone they look up to. When they see you reading, trying, not giving up, being kind, you're teaching life skills without even realizing it. You're helping build confidence, resilience, and a love of learning. So on the days it feels tiring, tough, or like what you're doing just doesn't matter, it does, more than you know. You are making a lasting difference, and these kids are lucky to have you. Thank you for everything. We are truly proud to present these students with certificates in recognition of their hard work, dedication, and their ability to make a lasting impact on the lives of others. Gio Patel. Machi Rajvanshi. Fiona Anthony. Arohi Pandit. Rithvik Banjari.
There is one student who has been with us for the past 4 years. Her hard work, dedication, and leadership is extraordinary. We are so proud to present this special award to Anya Shah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to invite Ms. Christian to present the STEM Academy.
Good evening, members of the Board of Education, Dr. Alderelli and Mr. Toth. It is my pleasure to introduce two outstanding Edison High STEM Academy students, Hasi and Sharish. As part of their experience in the Academy, students regularly engage in real-world learning opportunities that connect what they're learning in the classroom to future careers. Tonight, Hasi and Sharish will share two of those recent experiences, a visit to Nokia Bell Labs and learning from industry professionals at SHI.
Good evening. My name is Shrish Prasanna. We're from the STEM Academy class of 2028, and we thank you for allowing us to share our experiences tonight.
And I'm Hasi. I'm also part of the class of 2028 STEM cohort, and we're really excited to share with you a recent real-world learning experience we had at Nokia Bell Labs. So our day at Nokia Bell Labs started off with a technical briefing at a quantum lab about quantum communication and photon behavior. Up on the top, you can see a machine that they showed us during one of their demonstrations about photon behavior.
We then were able to tour the campus with the president of Nokia Bell Labs, who walked us through a detailed timeline of the global technology of the labs. We got to see some pretty cool inventions like the very first telephone and the very first laser, and we'll also talk about another invention that we saw in the next slide.
Our day at Nokia Bell Labs ended with a mentor pizza lunch where we could sit down one-to-one with physicists and ask them about their career, whether it be what they did in high school, college, or just how they ended up working as a physicist at Nokia Bell Labs. So some of the main highlights of our visit are listed up above. One of the things that were really cool was that we got to see Nobel Prize winning artifacts in first person. So innovators at Nokia Bell Labs have earned up to 10 different Nobel Prizes for Nokia Bell Labs, and one of the main things we learned about was quantum dots. Now, quantum dots were really interesting because they're in our pixels of all our screens, whether it be in our phones, computers, or TVs. And learning about something that we come across every day but didn't really know the significance of was really inspiring and interesting.
We then were able to visit the acoustic engineering labs, which focused on sounds and vibrations. And in these labs, we first got to go to the anechoic chamber, which is this completely soundproof room with walls that are 3 feet thick and absorb like 99.9% of all sound waves. We'll see a picture of the anechoic chamber in the next slide. So we had this, the picture of the anechoic chamber. You can see the walls that are pretty thick and absorb like the sound waves. We had this amazing guide that popped a balloon outside this chamber and inside the chamber to allow us to compare the noise differences. And it was pretty, like the difference was pretty substantial. Outside, we heard this really loud bang, but when we were inside, it was almost non-existent. And then we got to visit the reverberation chamber, which is the total opposite of what an anechoic chamber is. This loud echo room where sound waves bounce like endlessly off these hard surfaces. And being able to visit these chambers like gave us a new perspective on sound engineering and opened us to possible careers in this field.
Up on the top, you can see a picture of us attending the quantum communication lecture. And on the bottom are two photos that I took while we were taking the tour with the president of Nokia Bell Labs. On the left, you can see the world's first transistor. Transistors are tiny chips that you can find in almost all of your devices, again, whether it be in your phones, laptops, or television. And you can also see the Telestar 1. Now, this is a satellite which changed the era of global live television. So both of these are some of the biggest breakthroughs that innovators at Nokia Bell Labs had. So when you look at what the value of these field trips are for us STEM students, actually before we went on this trip, we hadn't really taken an AP Physics course yet, because that's a junior year course and we're still sophomores, but we still had some exposure to quantum theories before this through AP Chemistry. And actually a few days before this trip, we did a pivot, which is like a digital simulation of a lab. And in this digital simulation, we used a laser interferometer. When we went to Nokia Bell Labs, we saw a real-life laser interferometer, and we had professional physicists explain to us the significance and the time and effort that went into this innovation and the many discoveries that it led to. So experiences like this really made our cohort more interested in these tools and more eager to learn about them in the future.
Exactly. It shows us how like these local like small research projects scale into like massive global infrastructure. And more than anything, it gave our whole cohort a chance to hone in on our interests and actually visualize these real-world professions. And the real-world learning doesn't just stop there. Yesterday, we hosted 2 guest speakers who were pre-sales engineers from SHI, which is this IT corporation, and they gave us a presentation on AI.
So Henry and Angelina were our 2 guest speakers. They were IT professionals, and they basically talked to us how tech architects act as translators, which are basically people who bridge the gap between complex technology and the fundamentals that a business would need to function. But they taught us how they do that with the use of AI. And we thought this was really useful for us to learn because we're living in a world where AI has become increasingly used in many professions. So they told us how to use AI ethically and usefully, not just in IT, but in many different professions. So when we look at stuff we love about the Academy, one of the main things we get to experience through these field trips and guest speakers are that we get to sit down one-to-one and talk to professionals that are in fields that we may want to pursue in the future. You can look at how we got to talk to IT professionals and physicists at Nokia Bell Labs, or even this past November when we went to the Rutgers Ernest Mario Pharmacy School, and we got to talk to pharmacy professors and students. And we also got to look at many different labs and simulation labs where there were mock emergency situations where students would have to come and try to figure out what to do in those situations. So these experiences really open up our eyes, because I know me and a lot of other people in my cohort thought that pharmacy was just sitting at a Walgreens and then dispensing these medications to patients, but it showed us that there was a lot more to pharmacy through this trip.
Yes, thank you so much for allowing us to share our experiences again and also continuing to support the Edison High School STEM Academy.
Thank you, Shrish. Let them go. It's okay. Okay, I think next I'd like to invite Miss Laurie to talk about Bio Academy.
Good evening. Dr. Aldarelli, Mr. Toth, President Patel, and all the distinguished members of the Board of Education, administration, staff, and community. I am Lori Mayer, the proud science supervisor for J.P. Stevens and Edison High School. It is my pleasure to introduce our students from John P. Stevens High School's Biomedical Science Academy. The program is designed for students who aspire to make an impact in the world of healthcare and science. Using the Project Lead the Way biomedical science curriculum, students engage in hands-on laboratory experiences and real-world applications as they explore areas such as human medicine, physiology, genetics, microbiology, and public health. This year is especially exciting as these students represent our very first cohort in the Biomedical Science Academy. The goal of the Biomedical Science Academy is to provide students with authentic learning experience that open doors to a wide range of future career pathways. We are incredibly proud of the enthusiasm and the commitment of our students. So many students wanted to be a part of tonight's presentation that we had to put their names on a wheel and spin it to randomly select those that could come tonight. Representing the north and the south side of our district, it's my honor to introduce Harini, Rishabh, Wishaw, and Javrov, who are now going to share their experiences in this outstanding program.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Vishwa Adanwala, and I'm here to represent the South Side of the John P. Stevens Biomedical Science Academy. So obviously, when first entering, it was a new cohort, and everything was new, and nothing was really explained. However, during my previous years, I'm a new high school, especially being from the South Side and not being able to attend Edison High School, but rather JP, obviously, experiences have been very different. However, being in the John P. Stevens Biomed Academy has allowed me to introduces me to other aspects that maybe others in Edison High or regular JP have not experienced. For example, a couple months ago, we have done a dissection on a sheep heart. And this dissection required us to dissect the sheep heart, label parts of it, and really just being able to have the true medical aspects of our program. And I would like to recognize how important this lab was, as it allowed us to finally have real hands-on experience with medical equipment and just overall feel the medical experience. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jagrav Mitra, and I represent the south side of the John P. Stevens Biomedical Academy. So when I graduated middle school, it was all new because going into high school is definitely a big change from middle school. Plus, I was going from the south side to the north side. So there was definitely a bit of uncertainty. But now that I've completed most of my first year as a freshman, I can definitely say that this program is worth it. It's very interesting. Something that I would like to highlight is how hands-on it is. So at first, you get taught the material. So for our forensics unit, we were taught everything about DNA, fingerprints, hair, and how to analyze and sort of find suspects. But then what I found the most interesting is how we got to do our own project, where we ourselves had to find the evidence, had to connect the dots, and figure out who was the culprit. That for me was interesting because it was hands-on and it prompted you to think and apply what you learned from this program. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Harini Murali, and I'm representing the north side of the J.P. Stevens Biomedical Science Academy. So what I really like about this program is that we're able to get more hands-on experience, as everyone else has said, and more laboratory experiences, since we all have theoretical knowledge through AP Biology, and getting to act on that in principles of biomedical science, that's been really interesting. So one lab that we did this week is we've been learning how to transform bacterial plasmids, and that's been really interesting. We haven't got our results yet, but I'm really excited for that. And another thing that I wanted to highlight is a couple months ago we did phlebotomies. We had a practice hand, and we were able to draw fake blood out of that. And getting the experience to do what real medical professionals do, that's something that I found really fun. And also that we get exposure to so many different types of non-traditional pathways. We've learned that being a doctor isn't the only way to contribute to being in the Biomedical Science Academy, and I thought that was really fun. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Rishabh Jindal, representing the north side from JPS Biomed. One of the key things I liked, other than the hands-on learning like everyone else said, is learning that in the medical field, you don't have to be only a doctor. That there are so many fields in the medical fields, from pharmacology to forensics, et cetera, And another thing which I really like about the biomed community is having this community and these friends who have the same passions as me, have the same dreams as me. Actually, this watch I'm wearing is from one of my best friends in the Biomed Academy. Shout out to Aiden Manalo. And I think one of the best things about Biomed is being able to learn from each other. That some of these people I wouldn't have even talked to or even met without this academy, and be able to learn with them. I'd like to thank you guys for listening to us about the Biomedical Academy, and hope you have a good rest of your time.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your experiences. Okay. Next, I'd like to invite Dr. Joan Valentin to talk about work-based learning opportunities. And Ms. Meredith.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. It's a really exciting time to be a high school student in Edison, and I will tell you why. It all comes down to one simple word, and. A-N-D, not end, E-N-D. Our students don't just attend Edison High School or John P. Stevens High School. They are students there and have access to real-world learning experiences like internships, job shadowing, community service, and mentorships. There has been a major focus for us this year, expanding opportunities that connect what students are learning in school to where they're going in life. And we didn't just talk about it, we got to work right away. And we are making sure these experiences are meaningful, structured, and aligned to student interests and future pathways. Since then, we've made great progress building partnerships, creating opportunities that will open doors for our students across a variety of fields. To share more about where we are and where we're headed, I'd like to introduce our Principal of Special Projects, Meredith Quick.
Good evening. Thank you, Dr. Valentine, for that lovely introduction, and thank you to the board for allowing me to be able to share this information with you this evening. So we really have done some great things so far this year. One is really focusing specifically on our career connections and how are we making those pathways for our students. We are very proud to present to you this evening the Career Connections Hub. It is a centralized strategic initiative designed to expand real-world learning internship opportunities for our high school students. Students who engage in authentic, real-world experiences gain clarity, confidence, and career readiness skills that cannot be replicated solely within classroom instruction. Through collaboration with school counseling, our content supervisors, as well as our Rutgers University intern, we have created one accessible hub where students can explore opportunities across multiple career connection pathways. Direct links to opportunities for internship, mentorship, volunteering, enrichment, and research, as well as employment opportunities, are located all in one location. The launch of this hub is just the beginning of a long-term district initiative. We will continue strengthening relationships with businesses and organizations to expand meaningful opportunities for all of our Edison students. Since the launch of our Career Connections Hub, we have seen strong engagement with more than 10,900 interactions to date. This is only since the middle of February. This really highlights the level of interest from our students and our families. To keep that momentum going, we are consistently sending monthly reminders home to high school students and parents so they can stay informed about available opportunities and upcoming deadlines, because we know sometimes high school students like to procrastinate. To keep that, again, in collaboration with our academic programs and CTE supervisors, we are working diligently to build new connections for our Academy students. We're also expanding our partnerships. We are currently working closely with the Mayor's Office. Thank you, President Fischel, for helping us with this, Mr. President Patel. And again, to build those additional internship opportunities. We're partnering also with NoPro. It's a nonprofit virtual internship platform where students develop real-world solutions for corporations. They build practical, real-world skills and are mentored by experts in the field with the added opportunity to earn prize money. And finally, we continue to collaborate with the support of our academies, ensuring that these experiences are aligned with students' career pathways and instructional programs. So we ask that you partner with us. We are looking to continue to expand our opportunities. We have shared here our QR codes, which is for our Connections website hub, along with the ability for our local businesses to be able to sign up, whether it is for internships, shadowing experiences, however we can connect and collaborate, along with any volunteer opportunities for our students. So thank you for your time. Again, we look forward to continue to provide these opportunities to our Edison students. All right, thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna go out of order a little bit, and I will invite Edison High School President, Ms. Levin, to give the report. Thank you.
Good evening, members of the Board of Education, administrators, and community members. My name is Levin from Edison High, and I'm honored to share this month's of March report with you all today. So the month of March at Edison High School has been a busy and exciting time for our students across academics, athletics, and extracurriculars. To begin, March marked the start of our spring sports season on March 9th, where our student athletes quickly got into action participating in scrimmages for girls lacrosse, boys volleyball, baseball, and softball. We are also excited to see how our teams continue to grow and succeed throughout the season. Academically, students were presented with several important opportunities. Our college fair on March 5th was especially valuable for juniors that began planning for their futures. And in addition, EHS hosted the SAT on March 14th and NJJPA testing that continued on this past week. Beyond the classroom, extracurricular activities were thriving. Highlights include the Seniors Class March Madness Basketball Tournament hosted by the Senior Class Board, a special iftar event at EHS, as well as the EHS Theater Department production of Chicago, which showcased the incredible talent within our school community. Events such as District Band Night and our upcoming Fusion Show this Friday continue to show how students bring together and celebrate creativity. Additionally, the Spanish Honor Society introduced Edison High School's first Barcelona exchange program. Through this initiative, juniors and seniors had the opportunity to travel all the way to Spain and also host an exchange student or pen pal here at EHS, which created a unique cultural experience that we hope to continue to grow in the future. We would also like to recognize our Seniors of the Month, Saisha Fraser and Chris Sabadera, for their outstanding achievements and contributions to the school community. Overall, March was a month filled with growth, achievement, and school spirit here at Edison High. Thank you.
Well, next I'd like to invite Mr. Arush Bola from JP Stevens.
Thanks so much. Hi, everyone. My name is Arush Bola. I'm a junior at JP Stevens, and I'm also co-president of our student council, and I'm here to give you a recap of what JP has been doing over the past month. Now that we're into the second half of the year, what we're really seeing is students honing in on their classes, their extracurriculars, and really now their AP exams. On a different note, we're also seeing the seniors who are finally getting the last of their college decisions back, which must be a great feeling. And really by April, most, if not all of those decisions should be to them, so good luck to them. And on a tangential note, upperclassmen are also preparing for future years. Maybe juniors are looking to their colleges, and then these freshmen and sophomores are also looking to see what they're going to do in future years. And finally, with the weather finally starting to get better, I hope I don't jinx that, there seems to be a lot more energy in the building. In terms of events, it's been a really busy but also exciting month at JP. At the beginning of the month, the JPS Theater Company hosted its performance, Guys and Dolls, which was a great performance, and it combined a lot of groups from JP. Along with this, we also held our annual blood drive, where a large number of students and staff came together to support a meaningful cause. In mid-March, JPS also hosted its TEDx event, giving speakers across the community the opportunity to share their ideas and perspectives. Along with events, JPS also had a large amount of awards that were given out to students and also staff. For example, we recently found out that 14 students were selected as National Merit finalists, which ranks us 3rd in the state. This achievement comes from taking the PSAT and MSQT exam, where students across the entire United States take this exam in the fall of their junior year. And the National Merit Finalist Award is the highest achievement you can achieve, so getting 3rd place in the state is incredible. In the Visual Arts Department, 4 students were selected from the Middlesex County Teen Arts Competition to advance to the State Teen Arts Festival in June. On top of this, our Science Olympiad team placed 6th overall at the state level. Lastly, with our performing arts, the band and choir program have been performing at multiple venues over this past week, representing JP with some great performances. I recently found out that our band performed at Monroe and Roxbury this past week, and then our choir performed at Carnegie Hall. From the student council side, we've taken this month to prepare for upcoming events, such as our Spring Pep Rally and also our Hawk Island event. And looking forward, we also have our Battle of the Classes event in June. And I'm truly looking forward to all of these events. Overall, March has been a lively month, and the JPS community wants to thank our students, staff, administrators, and everyone on this panel for their continued support. Thank you.
Thank you. Both the high school students can leave, so you can continue to study. Thank you. I think next I'd like to start with superintendent's report.
Great. Thank you so much, Board President Patel. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, members of the Board of Education. Report is going to be a little bit longer tonight as we have our preliminary budget for approval on the agenda. As we've talked about, not only with the Finance Committee, but the presentation for the board. Tonight's resolution represents the preliminary budget for the 2026-2027 school year, the first step in the process towards the final approval within the next couple months. It's important to note that these figures are also part of an ongoing review. We continue to evaluate it up until the point of the formal budget hearing, which is going to be later on. But from this budget perspective, as we've talked about, not only with members of the Finance Committee, but with other Board of Education members, when building it, our goal is to maintain the high standards, the programs, all of which, many of which you saw this evening being presented tonight, that the community expects, but not only to build, not only to keep them, but to build upon them. So this budget that's presented this evening fully funds all existing programs, our dual language program, access to our academies, our internship pieces, the work-based learning, all of those pieces, while supporting the necessary resources to support our portrait of the graduate and our strategic plan. This budget also presents a clear commitment to maintaining all the things that we value here in Edison Township, our clubs, our co-curriculars, our sports, all of our after-school activities in relationship to that. Additionally, although the district has seen a declining enrollment from this year to last, in overall student enrollment in pockets in town, we've made a deliberate decision to ensure that we have appropriate and research-based class sizes and student-teacher ratios to ensure that the level of quality of instruction that Edison Township residents and students have known for years continues to exist. This budget also represents a moving forward plan for many of the long-term goals from our strategic plan as well as some of the issues that have come out of individual meetings, especially in relationship to our Finance and Facilities Committee meeting and our infrastructure component for air conditioning for all schools within the immediate future. To ensure some of and deliver on a promise from not only this board but previous boards as well too. This budget represents a commitment to our literacy program. It includes a brand new K-5 reading program that will be implemented across all of our elementary schools. And in relationship to that, the professional development that's associated with that as well too. A couple of new music equipment at both the middle and high school level, which is sorely out of date, a phased-in plan in relationship to that. Some updates to our playground equipment at some of our elementary schools as well too, to ensure that they're safe, modern, and accessible at that time too. All of this while kind of navigating, a couple of the pitfalls here, over the past couple budget cycles. A loss or a reduction in close to $6 million in state aid, while at the same time measuring the costs associated with our pre-K program. Prior to the inception of our program, which was implemented this year, these programs were fully funded by the state. Now, in order to move forward with these, the Board of Education gets the burden of 60% of the local funding in relationship to that. But despite that, those are components that are part of our plan. Those are things that the board has not only highlighted in the past, but it's great for kids and it's great for our community members as well. We're also looking at proactive approaches to, not sitting by and simply waiting for state aid to return. Mr. Toth can get into that in a little bit greater detail as we move forward into our budget hearing within the next couple weeks. But we're looking for, major revenue generating initiatives to bring in, non-tax resources into our districts to supplement those costs, which will hopefully offset the costs of and the loss of state aid. So all of those components in relationship to that are just the highlights of the preliminary budget. By March 27th, we are required by law to submit a budget to the county superintendent of schools in their office of a balanced budget. And again, as we continue to work forward and look at projections over the course of the next year, we'll dive deeper into the details of a final budget presentation before the Board of Education. For the purposes of this as well too, and for transparency amongst the community, we will have kind of information located on our website within the next couple days about what this budget represents, the information in relationship to the tax burden, as well as the how that relates to the loss in state aid.
Thank you.
Got it.
Next is President's report. I want to start with recognizing all the presenters today. Starting with Miss Baninder, I remember she presenting this dual language program a few years ago, and I love to see to full fruition after a few years, and I would love to learn Spanish from Eva, Ishan, and Michelle. It's an amazing opportunity that kids are learning two languages at the same time. So thank you for leading and executing it to the perfection. I like to recognize also Miss Dana Batomarco and everybody involved from JMI as well as JPS in the peer-to-peer learning program. I'm a big believer of peer-to-peer learning, mentor prodigy arrangement where, elder students are teaching younger students, because I think these JP students will end up becoming a role model for a lot of elementary kids, in future. So I hope that we continue this program. And I love the feedback from the students as well. Next, I want to recognize, both the academy supervisor. I remember it's a vision of some of the board members, a few years ago, where we wanted to start this program, and I loved the feedback from the students, right? The two things I consistently heard from the students is real life experiences, learning from the peers, having like-minded people around them. It's all good feedback. That's where we are spending, we spent a lot of our energy and money last year, and we continue to spend that, in future with starting more academies and more pathways, this year and next year. And last but not least, I want to recognize, Dr. Joan Valentin and Miss Meredith for, taking the board's vision to give real life experiences, like giving our students opportunity to learn beyond classrooms, get them ready after the classroom for the real life. We already heard from the students who visited Bell Labs and who just had a few hour session from the company called She, and they learned a lot from it. Now imagine what they would learn by having internship, doing it day over day for a month and a year, right? So I think one of the first partnership we are having with our township, where mayor's office has committed 2-digit interns all year around from the district, right? We are still working out the details, but he's gonna pretty much open up all of his department and invite our students to intern with them all year round, hopefully as early as mid-April. So a lot of exciting things. And lastly, I know, Mr. Toth is gonna talk about the preliminary budget. I mean, I see a lot of residents who wants to ask questions, so I would encourage everybody to ask questions. Ask as many questions as you want, and then we are here to give you the details, and then we'll provide you details either now or via the website in upcoming days. Thank you. Mr. Toth?
Thank you, President Patel. So the FY27 budget, the operating fund is estimated at $364 million. The makeup of that, the funding of it, $101 million is coming from your state aid along with excess surplus and miscellaneous revenue. Our taxes are to be raised are $263 million. That's about a $28 million increase year over year. So as compared to the current budget we're in, which is FY26. Major budget impact factors were the additional state aid cut of $3 million this year, along with the cut from last year. It's a $6 million cut because the funding never comes back, along with $11 million less in surplus revenue. About a $3.5 million increase in funding for pre-K, and $7 million for our contractual obligations for everything from salaries to health to our out-of-district tuitions, transportation, to everything that we utilize to operate. So that is the operating budget in a nutshell. The overall budget will be $372 million. That the additional $7 million is in our special revenue fund, which is estimated at about 70% of what it currently is this year. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is board member comments for preliminary budget. Okay, no comments. Do I have a motion to approve preliminary budget?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, roll call, Mr. Toth.
Mr. Azzarello.
Yes.
Mr. Errico.
Yes.
Mr. Lugo.
No.
Ms. Anjana Patel.
Yes.
Ms. White.
No.
Mr. Shi.
Yes.
Ms. Peng.
Yes.
President Patel.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Review of agenda items, Dr. Alderelli.
Thank you. Yep, so,
please, guys.
Decorum. Let's have decorum. They can make their comments decorum.
There'll be a time for comments during the quorum. No. In your agenda, it says we get to speak on the resolution. There will be a time for public comment during quorum.
Excuse me, it was public. If you know the law. Excuse me.
Please maintain. Okay, Mr. Toth, Dr. Alderelli, let's continue with the meeting. Sure.
thank you. So we have our personnel agenda items.
Excuse
We have our
me.
personnel agenda items. Mr. Di Pasquale, please, you'll definitely have a time to do this if you can.
But it says in the agenda, we are to speak next. It says it in the agenda.
Please stop disturbing the meeting, okay? Please stop. That's,
Go sue us.
These are the games you guys play, right?
It's not a hearing.
okay, you are gonna get a time to talk about it after. Okay, please stop. Please stop. Okay, that's it. Please stop. Please stop. Dr. Alderelli, let's continue the meeting.
There will be a time for public comment during the quorum.
Yeah, let's proceed, yeah.
Yep. So we have our personnel agenda items currently right now. We have our resignations, terminations, our appointments, our change of status, all the regular pieces, along with our district-wide programs that we have that are title funded, as well as some of our coaching stipends for the upcoming spring component as well, too. We also have, from our administrative report, we have the second reading of the policies from the last Board of Education agenda as well, too. We have the approval of our harassment, intimidation, and bullying report. We also have a settlement agreement that's on the Board of Education agenda. We have our 2026-2027 calendar for approval as well. We have a resolution that signifies the acceptance of April Autism Acceptance Month. We conclude with those pieces in relationship to that. From curriculum and instruction, we also have our field trips, of which we have a couple of conferences that are currently coming up, our DECA conference as well as Odyssey of the Mind. We also have the approval of our professional development components for March, the Board of Education support of professional development for our staff. And last but not least, for my section, we have the Special Pupil Services report for our out-of-district students.
Thanks, Doc. On the finance and facilities section, we open up with our usual monthly financial reports and minutes. And then we move on to our contract awards. We're going to be awarding contracts, some security contracts, technology contracts, furniture contracts, building infrastructure, and some professional services as it relates to Rutgers. Under procurement, we are going to be authorizing the use of competitive contracting to go out and procure our health and risk consultants for the upcoming school year. Under facilities, we have a few change orders at some of our projects, the JMI addition along with the John Adams addition and renovation. We do have a few items under grant. We're going to be submitting for the SNAP grant, along with an amendment to the ESEA consolidated grant and the IDEA consolidated grant. And then we round out the finance and facilities with the transportation report, which has nothing at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Now I'm opening it for the public comments, resolution only. Yes. Yes.
Elizabeth Talke, 15 Midwood Avenue. So we're allowed to speak about the budget?
Yes.
Stuff that just happened? Okay. Dr. Aldarelli, Mr. Toth, please do not take this personal. It has no reflection of you two whatsoever, other than you trying to, I don't know, squeeze a diamond out of sand or something. I don't know. Lifelong resident here, I am appalled at what just took place. This budget is due to the state, what date's today? The 24th, in 3 days. You had no input or listened to your public at all. For 5 years, you sat here with 0% increase. And now today, Mr. Toth, can you tell us what the percentage of the increase of our budget will be so that the residents at home know?
We will answer all the questions at the end. Just use your time.
Well, you can't keep asking. We're supposed to have discussion, you said, about the budget.
It's not the
so until we
conversation,
know, and these are just numbers on a piece of paper. This is not a budget. A budget should be broken down. Mr. Toth, when you first came here, we had these wonderful, elaborate presentations. I understand we're not having it this year because a lot of the board up there has sat here for 5 years and not raised the taxes at all. Now that we're in the whole country in dire straits and people don't have the money, You're not even telling us how much this is going to be, where the line items are. I know last year in June, I was told there was only $1 million left in our reserves. And we all knew that had to go to J.P. Stevens tennis courts and the flooding at the new auditorium there. So I'm not sure where all this money's magically coming from other than our pockets. And yes, you can blame the state for not giving us money. They are not going to give us money if for 5 years our town sits here and says, we don't need the money. We can do 0% so we can get a vote on the board. And that's right, you're not going to recoup it. And I feel so bad for Dr. Aldarelli and Jonathan Toth to try to make this work. Because we had great presentations today. It was wonderful to see what our kids can do here. But I don't know where you're going to cut, because you're going to cut the staff from, who are the ones who are actually in the classrooms helping the kids. And it's a shame, Mr. Patel, that you can't even look at me as I'm speaking. It's disrespectful. You pull a little bait and switch here tonight. We have never, in all the years I've lived here, had a budget presentation like this, where you say this is the amount of it, we're voting on it without the public input. I'm not sure if that's even legal. If the attorney can let us know if it is, I'm not sure if she knows the rules. But if you're presenting a budget, we should see more specifics, not just 2 numbers on a piece of paper without public input, and then you just all vote on it. Shame on all of you.
Mr. Toth?
So as to the questions, let me just quick respond. So the percentage increase on the FY27 budget compared to 2026, which is the current budget, is about 11.9%. That is the increase. Line items in the budget, right? So just like it's been every year since I've been here, we submit a preliminary budget to the county, right? They have to review and approve anything before the board can actually vote on it. Well, before you guys can make public comments, and the board can vote on it and pass it during a budget hearing. If everything goes to plan, we'll be submitting the budget to the county tomorrow, and hopefully there will not be too many questions. They will not ask us to make any quote unquote changes to the budget. We will be doing our usual presentation, Dr. Aldarelli and I. Will there be more than enough explanation in terms of how the money's spent, what's allocated to salaries, health, infrastructure, transportation, so on and so forth. And we will have the user-friendly budget posted for your review, and along with the advertised budget, all of that will be out there probably about a week before the budget hearing. So, thank you.
And just for clarity in relationship to that, everything, so the presentation has historically been done in May, the final budget hearing. In April and May, yep. So what Ms. Talkie was talking about is absolutely correct. We will have not only a full budget presentation. Mr. Toth talks about what the contents of the budget is in relationship to the average household. We talk about items that we're adding, some items that could be potentially reduced that we're looking at. All of those components are talked about during the formal budget hearing. This is a preliminary budget hearing that allows the board to submit this by law, just as we've done every single year, to the county for approval based off of those pieces. This is not a step moving forward in relationship to adopting a budget for the 26.
That's correct, Doc.
It's not final.
It's not, right.
Yeah.
That's correct. It's not a budget hearing, right? We're gaining, we have to submit by law the budget, a balanced budget that is, to the county every year on the 20th. With this year, there's been an extension due to the fact that there's a new governor in place. That budget has to be submitted. So what we're doing today is obviously this budget, we're developing it back, it starts in October all the way through now, working with the administrative team in every building and in central office, along with the finance committee and the entire board, right? We have a balanced budget in place. The board authorized us, the majority of the board, the quorum that is here, to submit that budget to the county as is required for their review and ultimately their approval. And then we'll be back if they approve it and we have no changes. Then we can have our normal hearing with public input, a detailed presentation, and a vote. And this has been the practice every year since I've been here, as far as I'm aware.
Also, this is not the time for a public hearing. The board members will make comments during their allotted time.
Okay, thank you.
Sue Campione, Edison, New Jersey. I just have a couple of comments about the calendar that's out. So I know that we deal with educators, but the coloring of the emergency closing makeup days, when they're colored in, it causes massive confusion because everyone sees colored boxes and thinks that the day is off. And as a rep, no matter how many times I explain to people, those are school days and you only get them off if we don't have snow, it didn't work. So I'm just asking that they not be colored and just listed in order the way that it always used to be, the days that we would get back if we don't have snow. Because it just causes massive confusion, and we don't want people making plans to think that they could have a long weekend and they really have school, and because it caused confusion this year. The other thing that I was very disappointed to see is my son is 35 years old. I've been involved with this district for a very long time. It is the first time I have ever not seen Passover recognized. And I'm really very, very upset by that. I know we want to move towards not recognizing holidays, but we are not there yet. And we have had split spring breaks before when it's been separated. And I know that the 21st is an early closing. That's the first night of Passover. But that's for the kids, not for the staff. And Passover is a family holiday that we have Seder and dinner. And working a full day does not get you home in time to celebrate that. And we could do professional development on the 7th and still close early. You don't lose a day. Quite frankly, the 21st and the 22nd should be early closings because the first 2 nights, it's an 8-night holiday, but the first 2 nights is when it's celebrated. And it's just very disappointing that people have come down here and specifically said that Passover is not needed, and to see that the board followed through with that is really very heartbreaking and very disturbing to me. So I really hope that you reconsider before you vote on this calendar, because you wouldn't lose days, you could be respectful and just make them both early dismissals for staff also. Thank you.
Yes? No, Tony. Yeah.
Tony DePasquale, 2 Pine Street. So I'm here tonight because the people of Edison are being asked to pay for years of a bad decision. For over 5 years, this board has sold the public on a fake 0 increase. And it sounded good. It was easy to campaign on, which many of you did. And it was a nice slogan, but it was never honest. It was never sustainable. And the reason I say it was never honest is because every year there was always an increase, maybe a little increase, but there was always an increase. It was not 0%. And it was never going to be sustainable. But let me just tell you a little history of how this started. And this is on record, on YouTube, on the board videos. Over 5 years ago, I attended a board meeting when Mr. Jerry Shee talked about 0%. And there was a discussion where I said to him, this is not going to work. This is wrong. And the discussion back to me was, you don't know what you're talking about. And this is on video. Now, there's some other people that also went on 0%. Ms. Pang, recently, in November, 0%. Vishal, 0%. Russell, 0%. That's what you campaigned on. I just heard Mr. Toth say 11.9% increase. So I'll go back to what I said before. You sold the public on a campaign slogan. You exchanged the honesty of what a board member should have with the residents for your campaign. That's what you did. Jerry, I know, whatever, because you don't care. Okay, and I have said this many years, that the board and the residents There should be honesty between them. You guys represent many people. Many people voted for you, but you don't care. You care about your own campaigns. And that's what the 0% represent. Because how do you expect to think that the state is going to go, oh, we're going to keep on giving them more funding, even though they're not going to raise their taxes? Do you guys even really understand how the government works? Of course they're going to go and say, well, Edison doesn't need to raise taxes, so we don't need to give them more funding. Are you guys serious that you did not consider that? Or maybe you did and didn't care because it didn't help your campaign. So now the residents are having to foot a bill of 11.9%, where if you easily just went 2% every year, it would not have been as difficult as people now having to pay a 12% increase. That's going to be over $2,000 for my taxes. And for many people, it will be even more money. But I will say this again. You don't care about the residents. You care about your campaign. That's what you care about. Now, I have some questions, if you're going to answer them or not. Will there be teacher layoffs? And I have to tell you, I know the majority of the answers already to these questions, because that's I have told Mr. Shee over the years. I know about a lot of stuff, and he doesn't think, or the board members don't think I know or have ears about what's going on. Will subscription busing be eliminated? Will class sizes get larger? So, are you able to answer these questions honestly? Or are you going to just give us a whatever answer, but eventually you're just going to do it anyway? Because you're not going to care what the residents think, what the teachers think. It's going to hurt the students. But again, you won your campaigns, and that's all that matters to you. That's all that matters. It's not the taxes that the residents have to pay. It's not hurting the students. The school district is about the students, not about the board, not about the Board of Education, not about any of you. It's about the students. The people deserve better than this. They deserve honesty. Even a little bit of honesty would work. But you all sit up there, you make the decisions that you want to make, all for your campaign, so you can win again and again and again. And that's what you care about. So I sure hope that I could get some answers to these questions that I have asked. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, please, yeah.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. DePasquale. So in relationship to teacher layoffs, subscription busing, and class sizes, yeah, there is no massive layoffs in relationship to this. The only layoffs that would I don't even want to call them layoffs. When school districts lose students, right? So just to and I told the board this before, between last year and this year, this time, we've lost 778 students, right? That's a substantial, our enrollment has declined, right? In certain pockets, not on every aspect of town, but district-wide, 778 students. Where districts get themselves in trouble, where they start to develop that financial hole, is when the enrollment declines. Staffing should equate to that, right? I mean, that's normal business practices and things along those lines. But still maintaining adequate set class sizes. So you're not going to see kindergarten classes with 35 kids in them, and we're not packing them to the gills. We're going to use normal class sizes that are low, right? So for kindergarten, it's the class size, kindergarten and first grade, I believe, is the cap is at 20, right? If you get more than that number of students across the grade level, we'll increase the sections at that time. Second grade, I believe, is 23, and it will be 25 in grades 3, 4, and 5. We're looking at some of our course offerings as well, too. We want to maintain class sizes of at least 15 for some of those classes, especially the elective classes in relationship to that. So we're definitely looking in that, but as a result of our relationship to enrollment. We also have a lot of retirees as well, too. I mean, if you take a look at the list, so that's why we're balancing these pieces, too, in that in the event that we do see a loss and reduction on a particular end of town, and we have an individual that's retiring, well, you know what? We've just moved that individual over to a particular spot, right? Or if they have a different certificate and there is a retirement or somebody that's not coming back from maternity leave at that time frame, they'll be able to fill those spots. So we're definitely making sure that there's no blanket layoffs. We're doing normal, fiscally responsible business practices in relationship to that. Subscription busing?
Yeah, I mean, with the budget that's been proposed tonight, right, it is an increase, but we are providing within this budget the resources to continue our subscription busing program, right? And we have about or around just over 4,000 students that utilize that, and we hope to increase it, right? If we can secure more routes. And with the budget, the preliminary budget that we have in place, we'll have the funds to be able to do such a thing. So that, granted, these are tough decisions that have to be made, right? The student is the one who is going to get the benefit from this. So, that answers
Thank you,
that
Mr.
question.
Doe.
And the class sizes in grade 3 are 23 as well, too. Second and third are 23, fourth and fifth are 25.
Thank you.
Correction.
Yes, please.
Anthony Deamron, Edison, New Jersey. First question I have, I guess, is if you were to take in, just hypothetical, if you were to take in the school funding, if we would have received it this year, where that would have put us in terms of percentage-wise. But it's funny. What I don't see on the agenda is you guys giving yourself any pay increases. I also believe that you guys work with twice as much of a budget than the town does as well. And I hope some of my friends who have come up here will be joining me at the town meetings when they choose to probably raise our taxes 6, 7, 8% this year. The mayor also has some responsibility, I believe, here. The mayor in the past has taken credit for school funding that, in my opinion, he did not deserve to take credit for, which was on the hard work and backs of other board members. The mayor also threw out the red carpet this past summer for the would-be governor. You even had a former school board member, who had the would-be governor at her home and made it portrayed that they were very close. The mayor came up with goose eggs this year. And I would like to know if what his input, any help that he got from the mayor's office in regarding this school funding. I mean, you can't have it both ways. So the mayor honestly has some answering to do as well. Like I said, you can't get it both ways. You can't take credit for school funding when you get it, which he really honestly didn't have any business to take credit for at the time. But then when we don't get it, just go MIA. So, and again, you guys are not increasing your salary. I believe you guys don't even have a salary, if I'm not mistaken. But here, I'm not here to defend or whatever, but that's just the honest truth here, all right? I'd also like to know, again, what percentage that would be with the school funding, where we would be at, and if the mayor had any help, made any phone calls, did anything, lift any finger whatsoever to his new friend, the new governor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. With regard to the state aid, had we gotten the state aid back that we got cut last year, along with an increase this year, would have probably been almost 3%. So that alone is 3% right there on the levy. Thanks.
Cool. Next, yes, Ms. Conway.
Elizabeth Conway, 20 Netherwood Circle. I realize there is a process for the budget
We wait in the beginning of March for the state to come back with their figures, and then we have to quickly put together some sort of preliminary budget. But what I saw tonight was disgraceful, Mr. Patel, with the fact that right now our state of economy is in complete disarray. And the way you handled it was completely wrong. Yes, we knew an increase was eventually happening because we've been saying for a couple of years, you can't do 0% when everything else is zero. There had to be some sort of increase to go along with the increases of the world. Now, I have been astounded by Dr. Aldarelli and Mr. Toth's budgets every year. In May, we finally get the down-to-earth, line-by-line budgets, which we'll get to understand. But tonight, I would have preferred to hear a little more so that we have an idea of what we're going to be looking at. And you, by your resentful attitude, really upset many people in this room, and that should not be. Whoever put this budget, this agenda together, it shows that we had a right to have public comment on the resolutions prior to you going further in the agenda. And I'm sorry, Ms. Lawyer, but you were wrong also by standing up for him. All you had to do was read the paper, and you could see why everyone was upset. You may not agree that it was wrong, but once you put it in the agenda the way it is, you needed to follow it. And I'm not a lawyer. But truthfully, we need to understand what's happening. One of the items that you talked about was subscription busing. Well, I know years ago, the biggest thing with subscription busing was that it paid for itself, that there was no additional costs from the budget to pay for it. Now, there was a way of taking care of it by moving students around, and if there was empty spaces on other mandated buses, you accommodated it, so it came out to zero. But we need to make sure that subscription busing is self-sufficient and that it is not a drain on the budget, because regardless, subscription busing is a gift for parents that truly need it. But at the same time, we're in the job and the business of educating students. We take care of the students once they get to the buildings. And subscription busing should be accordingly, without draining the educational part of the budgets. As far as layoffs are concerned, I knew the key was going to be, oh, we may not lay off, but through attrition, we'll lose teachers, paras, and any other employees that we can. And years ago, we talked about, with the Mr. Demographer that came, and he said that at the elementary level, as they were coming up, we were going to be losing students. It was at the higher grades where we would see the increase in population. But yet, we're seeing JMI is getting an addition, John Marshall is getting addition. So I don't know if his demography was as good as the actuality of what's going on in the district. But the biggest problem I'm having is, yes, it was a preliminary budget, but a little more defined would have kept people happy, and you just did not do it, Mr. President.
Next. Yes.
Joy Ship, Edison, New Jersey. Within discussing the budget, with the government, with the people in Washington, D.C., with all this stuff that's going on right now, the amount of money, I don't even know why. Not just with the Board of Ed, but I don't know why the town just keeps spending money. Like we got this charge card, like we got a black card or something, back and forth. And I do remember recently, was supposed to be a budget meeting at the council meeting, and the mayor didn't have he didn't have a budget meeting at all. He jumped up and said, bye, you didn't have no input. And you know, I just tell people, when you get up and you talk about the Board of Ed, and you talk about the council, just speak fairly about each group and about the money that they receive. Of course, I don't want any teacher laid off, and because, you know, everybody's scrambling for a job now, because there's a lot of people out here that have a lot of problems. And I know now that the school population is going to drop, not just in Edison, it's going to drop all over the place, because young people can't afford to have children, because the price and electricity costs and all this information that's going on right now. And it just saddens me that everybody waits for a particular time to say stuff about the Board of Ed, about the council back and forth. But I would like to see more involvement at the meetings back and forth. Now, I've gone to a numerous amount of council meetings, but they told me I've been here my whole life and everything, and you can't speak for 4 minutes, and I got to control the narrative. So the same people that come up and complain about, oh, you guys working for free and all the hours and stuff you put in, they don't say anything about the people who just get extra money, that don't have time for you, that may give you like 4 minutes if we're lucky. But I'm just saying to myself, when this budget goes up 12%, and then our town budget goes up 8%, and through no fault of the Board of Ed, because you guys are not building the houses, all right? You guys have to overcompensate for the extra building and the ridiculous amount of money that's spent in Edison on parties and stuff. You guys, you know, you have to take the brunt of it. And they're saying that you had a 0% from year to year, 0%. So I thought that maybe y'all would go up to 3 to 6% this year, because without the extra money coming in from the state, I thought that would be a problem. But it's not just this town that's not getting that money. There's a whole lot of other towns, and I'm telling you, really, really good towns who have been very frugal with their money, and they're all having problems now. So I just want the town council and the Board of Ed to work together instead of everybody getting up fighting each other. I just think that we should all work together and come out with a great deal for all of us for the taxes, because everybody's hurting right now because of the everything's going up except for our salaries. Some of us are on fixed incomes, and I just want to see, you know, I want to see everybody just work together. We should work as a whole. And I know for clarification that we're supposed to just see the preliminary budget right now, and you'll go through it line by line with us. Because what I also learned about the council budget, they were supposed to submit a preliminary budget in February. They're supposed to submit those, but that doesn't happen. So I'm just trying to get a good handle on and a clarification of the actual taxes and what it consists of and the things that we will be using our money for, because I have a problem sometimes when all the upper people have all the millions and millions, thousands of dollars, and people look quick to get rid of a para or take away some health care from the people that actually have pupil contact. That's who the people I worry about, because, you know, they're not making too much. And I know, I think it was like last year or whatever, they did pretty good when they raised the money up on for the paras. But I just ask people to be respectful of each other and don't come up and start campaigning ahead of time. That's all I ask. You know, just wait it out. And if I'm gonna criticize you, I'm also gonna criticize the town, because I have no prospective person or no one that I'm connected to that way. Thank you.
Thank you. Next. Please.
Brian Rivera, Edison. been out for a while, but I do want to say, Eddie, John, you look great. You know, I miss you guys. Hope you guys are doing well. I also want to say I feel bad that you're in this predicament because we know that we've had these discussions for the last 3 years and that this was predicted to happen. 0% was not going to work. We knew 0% was going to work when we were getting additional aid, but when the additional aid stopped, we had those backdoor conversations and say this wasn't going to work. So I feel bad for you individuals because you were put in a position where you advised people for what you thought would be best for the township, and it was shot down. So I feel bad that you're in this position. So I did want to say that. The rest of the board, I'm pretty sure, Virginia, I'm pretty sure they didn't tell you anything that's going on. Chris, I'm pretty sure you have no idea what's going on. The nods in the head tells me everything. Mr. Azzarello, congratulations, the first time I see you. I know you stopped by my house. You know, we still could, but I feel bad. You ran on 0%, and now you're sitting here saying, hey, it's 12%. Looks horrible for you. But it is what it is, but I feel bad for you. Let's just say that. You know, you have to make a decision. But 12%, that's ridiculous. But we're also talking about the 12% that we're raising. But we're not talking about the additional monies that we have to cut. My understanding is, yes, our taxes are going to go up 12%, but we also have to cut somewhere near about $5 to $6 million. So my questions would be, you know, when you do your presentations in May, or even if you want to talk about it now, what is being cut? Because the rumors are, yes, subscription busing is going to be cut. And then we talked about how individuals paid $500 for prescription busing. My understanding is, John, if I'm wrong, please tell me I'm wrong, but to bus a student, I heard it's well over $1,000. So the board's losing money there. I don't understand why we're subsidizing for other people's transportation. If you guys want, please stop by my house and pick up my kids and take them to school too. I'll be happy to pay $500 for the year, if that works. Because I pay about $400 for a month for childcare for my kids. But the reality is that you guys have to make hard decisions, and I think everybody here wants to hear what you're cutting. Yes, people are retiring. Yes, people are being terminated if they're not performing well. But again, those positions aren't coming back. So if you're eliminating positions, they're not coming back, and the public needs to know that, which means class sizes are going up. And this is just the beginning. I've said this privately to you guys. This sounds very familiar from other things that I've been seeing going on in Middlesex County. This is the beginning. It's just going to get worse. So I hope you guys plan ahead. I hope the Board of Education actually listens to John and Eddie rather than their own self-interests. You know, we pay Eddie and John pretty well to do their jobs. Let them do their jobs. This whole thing of 0%, it's not working 5 years. It's not going to work 6, and now everybody's got a shot in the ass. Here's 12%. That's not fair. It's absolutely not fair. And then the kicker is you still have to cut. So taxes going up, and you're cutting. So ballpark, if you guys want to talk about it, John or Eddie, is there any specific areas you're targeting to cut $6 million? If you want to bring it up now, because I know the number 6. It's not a secret. Everybody in the room knows it. But that's what the concern is where's the money being cut? I know right now it's not positions. It's not people. It is positions, because you're losing positions and they're never coming back. And anybody who's in a union, which I'm a union member, as soon as you lose that position, it's not coming back. So other people are going to have to take these responsibilities. I know people's positions are changing. The other thing that I would talk about is, did a union talk to these members whose jobs descriptions are changing? Because there should be a conversation if someone's job is being changed. If I'm doing more work, I should be compensated for more work. So the funny thing is the public doesn't know this or ask these specific questions, and it's a shame, not because they don't want to, they blatantly don't know, so they need people to inform them. We need the union to come up and talk about what's going on in the schools. We need people that understand what's going on with this budget to come out and speak. I happen to know this budget. I know the operations. I already told you guys my situation, what's been going on. You guys are in year 3 of where I was now in year 7. We talked about this. This is the beginning. Next year, it's going to be much more different, unless you raise taxes again next year. Because costs are going up, salaries are going up. I don't know how that you guys are managing it. So my other thing is, too, you guys want to spend $9 million on a property. It was obviously a campaign promise to something. You're raising taxes. You're cutting $6 million, but you're going to buy a property that you can't do nothing with because you have no money to do anything with it. So my last question, actually, just answer this question. Do you guys plan on still purchasing this property when you're in such a bad way with money right now? Like, why would you spend $9 million on a property that's just going to sit there when you're raising taxes 12% and cutting another $6 million? It just makes no sense. So can you answer that one question for me at least?
Did he? Cut. The property? Or the... Cut question. No.
All right.
Yeah, cut.
Right. So there are going to be reductions in staffing positions, right? That's done through attrition, right? So, every year, there's positions that, through attrition are not bought back. I think that the number was around possibly 20, Doc? And that correlates to a dollar figure, which helps us close a budget gap. Add to that, we're going to be reducing our cost for substitutes, right? With our contract service provider, which is ESS. So we have some cuts there, and we have some cost-saving strategies, along with reducing the amount of PD that we offer up and above what's required per contract. We're bringing that back in line. And, you could look at the budget lines when it comes out. Last year we allocated, I think it was $22 million, for capital outlay. We're not going to have, such a large allocation in this coming budget. So those are some of the strategies that we've used in order to balance the preliminary budget. Thanks.
And to touch base, just to complement what Mr. Toth had said as well too. We're also looking at our money that's associated with our title funds as well too.
Correct.
Utilizing that in a manner for at least the next year that will hopefully assist us with offsetting those costs. So some things that have come out of the operating budget and utilizing our title funding to support things like professional development, some of our stipends that are associated with that, the cost associated with a new reading program as well too, along with some of the PD that happens during the school day as well also. So that's where we would see those pieces. In relationship to the property, I don't know if, okay, it's off limits. It's currently within a legal matter piece, so we can't divulge too much along those lines, but we're in discussions.
We can...
You can't do this.
Next person, please.
Mr. Romano?
Yep. Mr. Romano. Yep.
Beth, you know the rule. He has 6 minutes. He's sitting down, and that's it. He has the opportunity to come back. Okay? We have 6 minutes, and we have a 3-minute rebuttal. Okay?
Mr. Romano, please.
It's not a Q&A session. You know that. It's a comment.
Yeah. Mr. Romano, thank you. What is yours, Mr. Romano?
Romano, Edison. That's called breakage, Mr. Toth, where you get people left, you bring people in. It's called, I believe it's called breakage. I didn't want to get up and speak, but I ran against zero, which was fine. Look, all I want to know is, and I don't need an answer. The public deserves the truth. It's called We the People. But it's we the people. And the truth is, like I've said for the past 2 years, You can't really do zero. It just doesn't work. And ma'am, thank you for sticking up for that. Of course, this is only a preliminary budget. I know that. The problem that we have is that everybody's voting on the preliminary budget. I don't believe people understand what that means. It's like when you vote on a piece of property on that property that you're investigating purchasing that property, allowing the board or the attorneys to investigate that property. So what we're doing now, I think people have to understand that the Board of Education, not the elected board, the Board of Education who runs the Board of Education. If I remember correctly, in governance, one of the first lines is a board member has to see that it runs well. Board members have to rely on the people who run the district. They have to listen to the people who run the district. It's like our students that listen to their teachers. Our teachers are the backbone. Our students, like we've seen here tonight, they're the ones that go out and do the job. They go out and find the answers. Mr. Toth and Doc and all of the people that work to assure that the education system works and works well. That's what governance does. Now, I appreciate that you're going to put a preliminary budget together and you're going to take and have the time to send it to the people that have to look it over. Then we the people, we will get our shot at it. That's we the people. That's what people are forgetting. It's we the people. At the end of the day, when somebody votes 0 no, like I did, I meant it. Because you can't run on 0 constantly. Now, the demographic study that I was involved with when I told the gentleman I really didn't give. But I don't want another commercial that says that I'm a bad person. Right? I think that's what it said. All I want to know is simple. Come up with your budget so you can present it. And the people here in the audience, the we the people, get a shot at looking at it. Now, I know the breakage, and I know that, well, if there's 3 kids in that class and there's 2 in that class, we can put, I understand that. I do understand busing. I'm not allowed to talk about busing, am I? Wait a minute, no, I don't know. Can I, wait, ma'am, can I talk about buses? I remember that you bought 2 new buses, but you replaced 2. You didn't increase the fleet. All you did was replace 2 buses. So thank you for your time. I want people to remember, when people voted no, they voted no for a reason. We the people, the truth and nothing but the truth. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Next. Yes, Ms. Mann.
Matt Revnak, ETA President. Before I get into budget, I do want to bring up about the calendar because I gotten some calls today. I know Dr. Alderelli and I got a few emails, I believe. I have a recommendation for you before you vote on the calendar. Right now, you have June 1st as a snow emergency give back day. I would recommend that you make that on April 22nd, which is Passover. And this way, like, hopefully we don't get snow, and even if you do, you don't have to take that day away. You can still be, that could be number 3 to be taken away. That will satisfy the people that affected. You know, everything else works out fine. And I think the 21st, Dr. Alderman and I can have a discussion on, you know, that happening with the staff, you know, that are affected, if you decide to keep the professional development day that day. So that's a recommendation I have for you, and I ask that you seriously do consider that. All right, getting to the budget. First of all, Mr. Toth, your numbers are totally accurate. I always trust in you. I figured out myself. You're right, it's a little over $8 million, and it is 11.9%. So you're 100% correct. But I want to put some things in perspective to people. And I have stood up here in the past, the last couple of years, and said I think it's foolish going to 0%. Even if you went to 1%, you know, last year and this year, for example, that would have covered the loss in state aid, if nothing else. I question why Woodbridge, which is a district that's not as large as ours, they get $130 million from the state. We get, I believe it's like $87 million. And yet they got a 6% increase and we went down 3%. And the only answer I'm getting is because your district did not go to 2%. Woodbridge does every year. And I said that last year. At some point, the state's going to turn and say, hey, if you're not going to impose, increase the taxes on your people, I guess I'm giving you too much money. But I want to put it in perspective. If you went to 2% every year, people right now would be paying the same dollar amount. In fact, actually, you're paying a little less because it's not cumulative over the last 6 years, basically. So you'd be paying the same amount. But it is a hard swallow when all of a sudden, like our gas, it went up like $1 a gallon in 3 weeks. But we also lost, the taxpayer hasn't had to pay the taxes over those 5 years, the tax increases. And same thing with the district. I said this last year. If we went to 1%, cumulatively, we've lost $30 million over the last 5 years. And I know Mr. Toth does it on 2%. That's $60 million over the past 5 years. So we wouldn't necessarily be in the situation we're in now. It becomes more hurtful, especially with what's going on right now with the price of everything going up, to all of a sudden now it's 11.9%. But realistically, again, I want the taxpayer to understand you'd be paying the same. I also was part of this years ago, which none of you were at that time, although Ms. White worked for the district at the time. Back in the Christie era, when we had 374 people on a chopping block, and paras were threatened to being privatized, et cetera. And I stated that. I don't want to get back to that. And this is some of the things right now we're talking about. I'm not saying it's the same numbers. And I know Dr. Alderelli and I and Mr. Campione and his administrative team has met. I know he doesn't want to cut staff. You know, some things through attrition, listen, you have to do a feasibility study. And yeah, like anybody else, things that sometimes need to be tightened a little bit. But we don't want to affect the students. And when you increase class sizes, it affects students. You can't give the same personal attention to every kid anymore because now you have 5 more kids in a class. And it takes that much more away from what you could devote to your students. Obviously, we don't want to see programs cut or anything like that, which also happened back then. Our music program was hit somewhat. Our elective programs were hit. You know, pay to play was actually talked about for sports. You know, we don't want to go there. We want to keep the quality school system we have. And unfortunately, it's come to where we're at. So a decision that the parents of the students of this district and the taxpayer have to look at, I've said it for years. I don't want to turn in, hey, Newark's getting 1.3 billion. I don't want to be Newark. I sure as hell don't want to turn into that, and I stated this years ago when they were called the Abbott districts. We are the largest district in New Jersey at the time, and we still are. That's a non-Abbott district. I don't want to become an Abbott district. And part of that is we need to have the funding to keep the great school district we have. And it is well known for the taxpayer out there that don't have students in the school, at one time if you did, your kids benefited from it, but your property values are totally dependent upon the quality of the school system. That is a known fact. And the final thing I just want to state, I don't need to be told what my job is as union president. I communicate with my members. There's a reason why there are people sitting back there, and I will continue to do so. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, I don't see none. Motion to close public comments.
Motion?
Second. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Well,
Excuse me.
yep, board member comments, resolution
No,
only.
I just have a question for Dr. Early. Is the school calendar for next year on this agenda?
It is.
It is, okay.
Any other comments from board member? Okay.
President Patel,
Yeah,
board
please.
comments on anything specific or
Anything, resolution only.
resolution only? Okay, I do.
Yeah, please.
Comment, question, more like a question. So I'm looking at the finance and facilities, section D, procurement. And I find this wording kind of interesting. If we go for the authorization for competitive contracting under public content, where it says, now therefore be it resolved, that in accordance with NJSA, that section B here, the Edison Township Board of Education authorizes procurement method for an extraordinary, unspecifiable service beginning June 1st. If the service is unspecifiable, that means it's not defined. How could we have a procurement method for an extraordinary, so a remarkable, undefined service? How do we have what is that method? And what does that mean? Because it seems very contradictory.
All right, let me try and answer that for you, Mr. Lugo. So when a board would like to procure someone like a health broker or a risk manager, they're not deemed a professional service under New Jersey statute, where like an attorney would be they would be applicable to 18A, 18A5, or an architect. An extraordinary unspecifiable service, I can't even say it, is actually, it's delineated in the law. And within that law, if you look that up, it speaks to insurance. And the method to going about trying to procure someone is competitive contracting. And what competitive contracting is, it's a more stringent form of an RFP. I can't just put out a competitive contract. Whereas for an attorney, an architect, someone of that nature, we can just issue an RFP directly. You don't have to advertise. With someone or a firm such as someone that does insurance, whether it's health, whether it's prescription, or P&C, property and casualty, as the law dictates that it's an extraordinary, unspecifiable service. The method of procurement is a competitive contract, which means I get authorization from the board, or if you're a municipality, you get authorization from the DCA to use the procurement method. It has to be advertised for 20 days versus a regular RFP doesn't have a set time frame. And then you go through a process of evaluating all the respondents and then determine which one is the most advantageous to the board in order to award the contract. So, I mean, if you look up those statutes, it states, how, insurance is classified in the law. I mean, it does, to me, it sounds, a little convoluted as well, but I'm not an attorney.
No, I know, I understand. That's why I'm asking, because I understand what you're saying. It's listed in a law, but if you just definitionally look at those two words and put them together, it doesn't make any sense at all.
I'm with you. We take a ride to Trenton together, me and you all drive. I agree.
If you're in agreement, then how do we vote on this? Like, I'm not trying to make a mountain out of a molehill, but how do you vote on something that's contrary?
Right. Yeah, I mean, listen, it's challenging, and I try to explain it to the best of my ability, right? Because of, what the statute says. Whether you vote yes or no, I mean, that's up to each individual board member. What I'm trying to, only thing I can do is try and explain it to the best of my knowledge as a QPA, right? That insurance brokers under the law, or under the statute, are classified as this EUS, extraordinary unspecifiable service. They're not so much, where they're a regular professional service, like a licensed attorney by the DCA, who's recognized under the DCA, but yet they're not qualified like a contractor where they'd be deemed lowest bid. They're in this in-between category. And the method that you utilize to procure a firm for these types of service is the competitive contract format. That's the best I can explain it to you in terms of you to make it a judgment, whether it's a yes, a no, or an abstain. That's the best.
No, I understand. I just don't see,
I
because of that
do
wording,
understand
I
what you're
don't see
saying.
how I could even vote on this.
I get it. I understand.
Okay.
I mean, maybe unless do you have something that has a counsel? I mean, to add in regards to procurement and competitive contracting. I mean, I think I summed it up pretty well.
Yes, and typically with these statutes, there's a definition section as well where that would be further outlined.
Okay, thank you. Any other board member comments for resolution only? Okay, do I have motion to approve personal report?
Motion?
Second.
Roll call, Mr. Dutt?
Yeah. Mr. Azarello.
Yes.
Mr. Errico.
Yes.
Mr. Lugo.
Yes.
Ms. Patel.
Yes.
Ms. White.
Yes.
Mr. Shi.
Yes.
Ms. Peng. Yes. President Patel.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve administration, curriculum, instruction, and pupil special services?
Motion?
Second.
Roll call, Mr. Dutt?
Mr. Azarello.
Yes.
Mr. Errico.
Yes.
Mr. Lugo.
Yes.
Ms. Patel.
Yes.
Ms. White.
Yes.
Mr. Shi.
Yes.
Ms. Peng.
Yes.
President Patel.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve finance?
Motion?
Second.
Roll call?
Can I make a comment, or we have to wait?
I mean, we have a motion on the table though now. I think you have to vote on it. You have a motion in a second.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
Mr. Azarello.
Yes.
Mr. Errico.
Yes.
Mr. Lugo.
Yes, with the exception of D, procurement, that's a no.
Okay. No on D. Procurement. Noted. Ms. Patel.
Yes.
Ms. White.
Yes, with the exception of D.
Okay, no on D. Under procurement? Yes, okay. All right. Mr. Shi?
Yes.
Ms. Peng?
Yes.
President Patel?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Cool.
Can I make to Dr. Aldarelli, and would we be able to table the calendar to take another look at it, based on the comments that we had from the public? Yeah, I would have to make a motion, right?
I mean, calendar can be updated anytime through mid-year, right? So,
We can always make the change in the middle of the year.
yeah, we can always make
All right,
changes.
so we don't have
Yeah,
to-
I believe the calendar
Yeah.
was approved,
Yeah.
but much like, and I actually had a side conversation with Mr. Patel in relationship to that.
Okay.
It's
All right.
definitely, it can definitely be modified, as
Got it.
we've done in the past with Board of Education.
Yeah,
approval.
we have
So,
done it, that
thank you.
modify, I think 1 year we modified 3 times.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Thank you.
So next ones are committee reports. I'm gonna go with the finance committee report. The finance committee met in March 24, 2026. In attendance were Vishal Patel, Shannon Pang, Ronak Patel, Ralph Arico, and then the member of the school district administration. Committee basically discussed preliminary budget for the coming year, and good portion of the conversation was centered around the projected reduction in state aid and what that might mean for the district program, taxpayer impact, and the goals we care for the most. The committee appreciated the open discussion and remained committed to finding a thoughtful solution that continue to put students first. Thank you. That was the end of the meeting. Do we have somebody who can give the committee report for special education?
That would be
On
me.
behalf- Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you,
Dr. Tui asked me to present. All right, the chairman, Mr. Ronak Patel, members were Mr. Lugo, Ms. White, and Mr. Azzarello, and attendees were Dr. Tui and Ms. Hines. The Special Education Committee met on Thursday, March 5th, 2026 at 4:30 p.m. in the caucus room. The meeting was led by Committee Chair Mr. Ronak. Committee members in attendance were Mr. Lugo, Mrs. Virginia White, and Mr. Russell Azzarello. District staff included Dr. Tui and Allison Hines. Dr. Tui and Ms. Hines provided an update on the district's CEIS funding. CEIS stands for Coordinated Early Intervening Services. Allows school districts to use a portion of the IDEA funding to provide early academics to support who may be at risk for learning challenges but who are not currently receiving special education services. The district is using CEIS funds to support the Orton-Gillingham Certification Program for teachers. At this time, all 20 school buildings have at least one staff member trained in the Orton reading approach. These staff members provide targeted reading instruction and work with students who need additional support. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Arico. Next is public comments for open discussion, any topic? Yes? Yeah, Ms. Beth.
Beth Talke. I just want to give a shout out to some of the staff from James Madison Primary. 2 weeks ago, at the time of dismissal, unfortunately, there was a fire at a residence right across from our complex. And one of our teachers, Norma Jean, ran over to knock on the door and to bring some of the residents out. Our principal did a fabulous job. Mr. Seiler, shout out to him. Getting in touch with 911, keeping the kids calm, and navigating everything that was going on as fire trucks and so forth, emergency vehicles were coming. At the same exact time, we were loading buses and dismissing kids. I'm going to give a shout out to them because they did a fabulous job.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, Ms. Conway?
Elizabeth Conway, 20 Netherwood Circle. I had 2 fun things this month I wanted to share. I got to enjoy doing Read Across America at Menlo Park School, and it's just so exciting to sit with the children. And I was in a 5th grade class, 2 5th grade classes this year, and the conversation that took place after the books were read was amazing. And I went home with the biggest smile on my face, so I thank Menlo Park Elementary School for remembering to keep it, inviting me to be part of it. The second thing was I got to enjoy Chicago at Edison High School with Miss White, and we oohed and ahed the entire time. They are such a professional group. They may not be paid in money, but in the accolades that they get for such a fabulous performance is amazing. I'm sorry I missed Guys and Dolls, but I made sure I got to see Chicago. And the third thing is I'm looking at the calendar, and I know you're questioning days for this and days for that, But I looked down at your calendar to see what the stars represented. And if you look down, it says there's Board of Education meetings. So I see 1, 2, 3, 4 Board of Education meetings in the entire school year next year. So I thought that was interesting. I know you're getting very lax, having a caucus meeting and an action meeting lately, combining the two, which really puts me at a disadvantage, and I'm sure the public in general, not being able to really look at what's going on and being able to question more specifically as to different items that we don't get to see. I was able to spend the time looking at the policies to see, what was being changed or revised or eliminated. So I thank you for that. But I would question that in the next school year, that you do have more than 4 Board of Education meetings in the entire school year, and go back to the practice of having a caucus meeting and an action meeting, because I felt when I was on the board that I did not get to really quench what was going on that month when it was a combined meeting. So not only does the public get to lack information, I think the board members should be lacking also. And you get to read and you get the information, but the conversation that goes back and the question and answering, I think, is more limited when you just have the one meeting. So more than 4 meetings, and kudos to Menlo Park School and Edison High. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes?
Anthony Mara from Edison. I'm here to speak about a document I emailed to you back in early February called the Parental Bill of Rights. Before I do, I want to just say how utterly amazed I was tonight listening to the programs and the students. I was amazed. That was oohs and ahs as far as I was concerned. So hats off to you and to all who presented tonight. All right, back to the Parental Bill of Rights. It's an excellent piece of work. It's the gold standard. It really needs to be adopted. I want to speak about a U.S. Supreme Court decision that came down in March 2nd of this year, Mirabelli versus Bonta. It's a U.S. Supreme Court decision based on a California case that is about a policy very similar to the one you guys abolished, well done, back in May of last year. Policy 5756 deals with parental rights and transgender agenda. The case, because this is important because it's our U.S. Supreme Court, and so we need to be mindful of what they say because it's binding on us. The case involved that particular type of matter where transgender agenda and parental rights. And regarding parental rights, the Supreme Court said this, and this is a quote, I'm reading it right from the decision I have in my hand. The state argues that its policies advance a compelling interest in student safety and privacy, but those policies cut out the primary protectors of children's best interest, their parents. Parents are the primary protector of children's best interests. Further on in this case, it says, for these reasons, parents who object to California policies, like the 5756, they don't call it that there, but it's the same stuff, who object to California policies on free exercise grounds, religious reasons, are likely to succeed on the merits. But you don't have to have religious principles in order to be protected here, because it goes on to say, the same is true for the subclass of parents who object to those policies on due process grounds. In other words, anyone and everyone is entitled to be protected as a parent. The right to be protected by these precedents includes the right not to be shut out of participation in decisions regarding their children's mental health. Gender dysphoria is a condition that has an important bearing on a child's mental health, but when a child exhibits symptoms of gender dysphoria at school, California policies conceal that information from parents and facilitate a degree of gender transitioning during school hours. These policies likely violate parents' rights in directing the upbringing and education of their children. In plain terms, parents are the primary educator and protector of children. We need to adopt that in Edison. If you're saying to yourself, we're already doing that, Mr. Mara, if it's already being done, then why was it such a fight to abolish 5756? That didn't go away easily. Put it in writing. Tell the parents and students of Edison, especially the parents, we are behind you, we are supporting you. There is no better way of doing so than adopt this policy. This policy, let me just read some of the things from this policy I emailed to you. Parents have the right to consent or to decline any physical or mental health services offered through school, except in emergencies where immediate intervention is required for student safety. The school must obtain written parental consent before a student receives counseling, therapy, or psychological services from school personnel or contracted providers that are in excess of services identified in policy and those required by law. I mean, this is common sense stuff. Please consider adopting it seriously. We have days in our calendar, Mother's Day and Father's Day. Does anyone have any problem honoring mom and dad on those days? We need to honor them not just on those days, all 365 days of the year. God gave us a rule called the Golden Rule. Do unto others as you have them do unto you. That's a rule of common sense. I don't know how many on the board are parents. Don't you want to be honored? Of course you do. Do so for the parents in our district. And lastly, I've mentioned it many times, it bears repeating, God himself gives us a command. Honor your father and your mother. It's in the 10 Commandments. Please consider adopting this policy. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Matt.
Matt Revnak, ETA president. Last month I mentioned I'd follow up with the fundraising for volleyball, so I just want to let you know we did raise $12,600, $4,200 to each of the 3 charities. So I thank everyone who contributed and participated in that great event that ETA sponsors. The other thing I want to comment, somebody made a comment before about Read Across America. One of the highlights of my year is being able to, being in the high school years I was, to go around to all the elementaries and read to the kids is just a wonderful thing. It was great to see many of the board members out there reading, administrators, retirees came back, members from the, the city, et cetera. So again, great event. I do want to mention again, ETA is sponsoring the Read Across America Awards ceremony, where we select 2 winners from each grade level. That is on April 30th, so Dr. Valdarelli, and you'll get the invitation from us. Hopefully you can join as you usually do. And it's a great night. Again, ETA sponsored. The final thing, as I do usually every month, there are 4 major days in the month of April. April 1st is National Paraprofessionals Day. So again, thank you to all the paraprofessionals in the district who work with our most needy students. It's a very demanding job for very little pay. So thank you to all of our paraprofessionals. April 4th is School Librarian Day. I know you just put in a policy for library and books and all, so It's great to see that. I'm sure they're happy to celebrate their day on April 4th. April 22nd is School Secretary's Day. You know, it's funny because we always talk about teachers and all that, but our support staff is what makes our buildings run. One of the things I was told in college, if you get to know 3 sets of people, you'll have a great career. Know your custodians, know your secretaries, and know your security guards. If you don't know your principal, it's probably not a bad thing. But if you know those 3, you'll have a great career. Secretaries, they know everything. You can get anything you need if you see and have a good relationship with your secretaries. So again, thank you to our school secretaries on April 22nd. And finally, which is the day of the next open public meeting, is April 28th, our School Bus Drivers Day. Even though I don't represent them, as Mr. Romano has brought up, I did drive a bus in the summer for summer camps for years. Thank you for transporting our children safely to and from school. And even though I'm not your president, I still appreciate the job that you guys doing in the safety of our students. The only other thing I do want to mention is coming up. Happy Passover to those that are celebrating, and also happy Easter to those that celebrate Easter. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Please.
Sergio Lansuri, Edison, New Jersey. This Friday, the school calendar maintained a holiday, Eid al-Fitr, which was the celebration of the end of Ramadan. Fundamentally, what that meant for our community was a day for community, a day for family, and a day for food, as you can imagine, for 30 days of fasting. On Friday, we had specifically 4 large congregations in 2 locations, close to around 6,000 people that showed up. Friends, family, fathers, mothers, and of course, with your guys' help, students as well. We already had discussed, and Mr. Dr. Adarelli, I appreciate I apologize for disruption, but I appreciate being heard out about us being able to organize the members of our community to at least engage with the Board of Education here today. You know, we got organized under our banner of Mecca, Muslims of Edison Civil Alliance, and essentially we're able to kind of reorganize our community to talk to you guys. I wanted to come here and personally thank Mrs. White to having our conversation with us, Ms. Patel, who was able to, who helped us with this, Mr. Azzarello, Mr. Shi, Mr. Patel, Ms. Peng, Mr. Erico, and Mr. Lugo. I understand that today's conversations have been rather difficult, but I wanted to at least make sure you highlight the fact that each and every one of you have been able to help us as a community grow. In the future, there's probably going to be tougher conversations to be had, but at least we wanted to highlight and appreciate the things that you guys have done for us today. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Please.
Taha Sheikh, Edison, New Jersey. I wasn't actually going to speak. I was just got a text message because I was in the frame of the camera from the 2 presidents from the Muslim Student Associations at the high school, J.P. Stevens and Edison High School. And I thought I'd put them on the limelight for a quick second. I think just last week, right before we had that break for Eid, Edison High School hosted an iftar party where they hosted around 140 people. And they had tickets priced at $5 per person. With that being said, I just wanted to highlight the MSA at Edison High School being an alumni and president. It's great to see them host an iftar. And they also asked that in the future, they'd love to have you guys there. They wanted to invite you. And on that action item, actually, specifically, J.P. Stevens, their counterpart, is hosting an Eid party. So it's going to be an Eid celebration. And they will send, obviously, a formal email to you guys. Food is obviously free. The event is obviously free. But we would love to have you guys there as, Board of Education from the top down. And just to highlight these students, they're not getting paid for these positions. They actually fundraise within the community. Just to highlight real quick, catering costs them around $6,000. for all the food, for all the logistics, for all the events and organization. They fundraise these from grassroots fundraising, from community members, from members who just wanted to see an iftar party happen. So to get that all the way down to $5 and break even, it's an amazing feature of our students. So to highlight them, I wanted to highlight the presidents and the overall board and the general body of JP Stevens and Edison High School MSA board. And actually where you guys are sitting is where they pray at Edison High School. So that's a cool fact. Thank you again, and we hope to see you at the iftar or the Eid party at JP Stevens. I think they will email all of you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, I see none. Motion to close public comments.
Motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Board member comments for anything?
Here, I'll
Yeah,
say
please, Gina.
something. This is, this has been a really tough meeting, and thank you so much for, for coming here and saying what you said. It was really, really nice to hear. I also just wanted to mention JP and Edison High School. I did go to the plays with Mr. Azzarello, Judy Cox, and Elizabeth Conway, and I'll tell you, the talent is incredible. Do try and support them when they do these things. I mean, it's well worth it. Just go, and I'm sure you'll enjoy the experience. And lastly, the budget. When we have our budget meetings that are going to be coming up, please come out and listen and see what you can do, see what you can offer. Everybody always wants ideas, so try and support this. We need the budget. We have to move forward. Nobody wants our taxes to rise. I, for one, do not. But, we do need to protect our district, and we need to support our schools and our children, and we also need to support our superintendent and our business administrator, who are working really, really hard to make good things happen. But we can't do that all by ourselves. We need a lot of support, so please help. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, Mr. President.
Yep.
I did attend a few Read Across Americas. I'd like to thank the staffs at Martin Luther King School, Washington, Lincoln, and Ben Franklin. It was enjoyable to go and read the classes. Close to my heart was Ben Franklin, which is where my boys went. And actually I read to the kindergarten class from Mrs. Jones, who was my oldest son's kindergarten teacher. So that was, she couldn't believe he was going to be 36 years old. So that was 31 years ago that she taught him. So it was a pleasure being there. Also, thank you to the gentleman that celebrated Eid. Look forward to that invitation, and I'll respond when I get it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Board President?
Yeah, please.
By the way, thank you for the invitation as well. Appreciate it. And I also want to say about, would like to thank all the teachers and faculty and principals that hosted Read Across America. I was very happy and very surprised how much I would enjoy reading to the kids, to the students. I haven't read it to the students in a long time. My sons have been out of school for quite a while. But it's, like Ms. Conway said, it's not only, it's very rewarding to the readers, but also to the students as well. I have several from Washington School. I read at 6 schools. I wish I could have did more, but thank you so much for being our guest reader for this year. I enjoyed having a little chat about who and what you are. And of course, I also enjoyed the book you read, which I think was an interesting moral of never giving up and be strong, like helping others, which is what's going on today. That's pretty potent. If you had never been our guest reader, I would not know what being a strong person is and not know about who you are. I appreciate it sincerely and from Ms. Spears' class. So it was very rewarding to all the readers, and if you ever consider for next year, if someone approaches you and should ask you to participate, it's an honor and a privilege. So that's one thing. The other thing I like to copy from my colleague, Ms. White, and Ms. Conway, the plays at J.P. Stevens were terrific, and Edison High. Both plays, they were star-studded performances, compliments to all that were involved. The students were very talented. The music, the play, it was very surprising. I would have went back another night, but I didn't have the time. But they were very enjoyable. And next year, I would encourage anybody out there to find out when the high school plays are and make sure you attend. And last but not least, it's befitting that tonight is a board meeting. Today we lost a board employee, a Edison Township Board of Education employee. His name is James R. Higgins. He was a great guy, loving husband, father, son, family member, and he had many friends and fellow employees, coworkers. I would just ask that regardless of your faith tonight, when you go to bed, you say a prayer, you keep James R. Higgins in your prayers and his family and his friends for strength and comfort during this very difficult time. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Mr. President?
Yeah, please.
I first I want to thank everybody who presented tonight for, all the programs that ESL program, the STEM Academy, the Biomedical Academy. They're just fantastic. I think our students benefit a lot from these programs. And just a side note, all these programs are launched in the past couple of years without a tax increase to taxpayers. And also want to address, since Mr. DePascal mentioned my name, so I want to address that he said that our tax has always been increasing for the last few years. I'm not sure where he get that, because if you check our budget every year for the last 5 years, our tax levy has always been maintained the same, $235 million. Of course, our budget has been increasing, but I'm not sure he knows the difference between the budget and the tax levy, which is tax collected from our taxpayer for school, which has not changed for the last 5 years. The numbers don't lie. The property tax bill might increase, but the property tax also include township tax and the school tax, where school tax part has not increased for the last 5 years. I mean, you can check our previous budget numbers. Also, there are some members here tonight said we should have increased tax for the last 5 years. Some of them actually voted for zero tax increase when they're on the board, when they were on this board. But now they're saying we should have increased the tax. But mind you that if we have increased tax even 2% for the last 5 years accumulated, that will be over 12.6% today for the 6 years. And tonight's budget presentation, we're not increasing that much, right? That's more than we have. And, those are the money that taxpayers have to pay over the last 5 years. If you ask any taxpayer, would they rather pay the few $1,000s for the last 5 years and still get to continue pay more? Or do they want to keep that money in their budget, in their pocket for the last 5 years? I think the answer is obvious. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Ms. Shi, please.
Yeah, I just want to, say I was so happy to see Charlie Ross over here. He left. Welcome back. Really happy to see him, back at work. The other thing I want to mention is last month we started the Student Ambassador Program, which we picked, 2 or 3 kids from each grade, from 8th to 12th grade. These are the students who will be the ambassadors. They will be talking with their peers in the school to get their input as to what are the things that's going on, what are the improvements they're looking. for the board to help them. So we're going to have a first reporting this Thursday. They will be, awarded with pizza and some all the goodie stuff, and they're going to come here and present to the committee as to what their findings are. So we are looking forward to that. Read Across America, I went to JMI, really had fun. The plays, Guys and Dolls, Mr. Azarello, Jeannie White, and Judy, we sat together and really enjoyed it. Unfortunately, I couldn't come to Edison High School because I was in Germany. So I heard it was a great performance as well. Just to add what Mrs. Penn has said, some of the people who came over here, they were board members. They voted 0% tax increase for the past years. They were on the board. And they ran on a 0% tax increase in the past couple years. And now they're coming over and say, hey, you guys made a decision. You were part of it as well. So, everyone on this board, except the Ross, everyone voted at least once to have a 0% tax increase budget, at least once. So this is a fact. I don't want to say anymore, and I just want to end my comment by saying that the staff and the students enjoy the spring break, and hope the weather gets a little bit warmer, and take a break. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Cool. Well, I'm going to say thank you, Mr. Ansari, for waiting few hours to appreciate and recognize our effort for Eid. And as you say, it was a great meeting with the combination of some great conversations and difficult conversations. And I want all of you to know that I have always made decisions and always will make decisions based on my principles and values. And I will never compromise that for anybody, any situation, or any people. I believe in respectful and transparent communication, and I will always do that, even though some people choose not to do that with me, because it represents them, not represent me, right? And I welcome everybody to ask as many questions as they have. Send an email to all of us if you choose to, but I kindly ask them to be respectful when they ask questions. Thank you.
Motion to close the meeting?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.